So today we're back with the 1972 Continental Mark IV by Lincoln, and I just want to go over the interior a little bit. I know we did a brief overview in my first video when I went over the exterior and interior. Today we're just going to talk about the interior for 1972. So this is a big departure from Ford, from the 1969 through 71 Mark III. And so for 72, Lincoln decided to switch it up a little bit, and I wouldn't say for the better. The 69 through 71 Mark III has a much better interior. However, this isn't bad, but it just, you can see that Ford has started to cheapen out just a little bit. For instance, this armrest, flimsy, and they frequently break. You can see this is kind of discolored. And those switches, it is a 50-year-old car, so you know, at least I don't expect perfection at this point. The cars are relatively still good condition on the interior. However, it has seen better days and it can use some attention. As you can see, there are cracks in the door panel, and all those seat switches and power window switches have to be replaced. Half of them don't work. The driver and passenger side window do work. However, they need some help getting up, especially the drivers. The back window, the driver's side worked. The passenger worked, but it just stopped on me last week. So, unfortunately, my passenger back window, it won't slide back forward. As you can see, this came loose since I've been driving it, so it just needs to be screwed back. And these have also seen better days. They don't work. Obviously, the door is open, and you don't hear the annoying Ford buzzer when you have the door open, which is good. I'm happy about that, but the lights don't work either. And as you can see, the carpeted door at the lower level has probably started to some faded. You can see the red has faded a little bit as you get towards the end of the door. These can also stand to be replaced. And so for the 72, Ford had what was called, they didn't have any electric door locks. They had where you just actually pushed it down and that locked both doors, and you let it up, and that was to unlock both the driver and the passenger door. However, my passenger door lock does not work for some reason. It probably needs to be replaced. And this is the interior panel for the 72. As you can see, this had the optional cruise control. So, it didn't have the rim blow steering wheel. If they had the cruise control, I think that they don't have the horn on the steering wheel. It had to be somewhere else. This actually has two wires at the bottom, which, if I connect them two together, huge, very loud air horn. The button that it actually attaches to is in my glove department. Glove box, I want to say. And so for the lights, you push them to close them. And open it, you pull it out. And pull it out just a little bit for the parking lamps and the cornering lamps. And this was the air condition for 1972 as well, and it had the defroster, rear defroster. I don't think that works. The air does blow, however, it doesn't blow cold, so probably needs a new compressor, or maybe it just needs to be converted to R134 and Freon install, but that'll be a project for next year. Now, in the owner's manual and all of the brochures, they say that for 72 they had Cartier signed clocks. I don't know how they signed it. It is definitely a clock that Cartier endorsed, but they would make you think that they actually signed each individual clock. That's how the brochure explains it, and that's definitely not true. I'm sure that Cartier didn't obviously sign thousands and thousands, so it was some type of stamp, but that's the clock They never work. It doesn't work on this one, so nothing different. The middle part houses the fuel at the top and gear selector at the bottom. Both of those do work, so I'm happy about that. And the right has the speedometer, and as you can see, it has 97,442 original miles on it. And to the right of that, this is their warning bank, if you will. So it has like a alternator light, temperature light, oil pressure, low fuel, door jars, sure track, and fasten seatbelt. The only ones that I know work for certain, as intended, I'll say that, it seems like it's the alternator, the oil pressure, and that's it. However, I have seen the fasten seatbelt go off when, for some reason, when the passenger seatbelt is connected, it seems to go off. Other than that, it's always illuminated in this car. So it's a faulty fasten seatbelt. The temperature light seems to be out. The door jar doesn't work either. And the sure track and low fuel are also always illuminated. So I definitely need to have that illuminated and repaired. I just actually recently bought a windshield washer and the wipers knob. It was missing when I got the car, so I was able to find a new old stock one on eBay for $25. So that was a pretty good deal. So my wipers do work. It's weird that Ford have it working in both directions, so you could turn the knob left or right, and off is actually somewhere in the middle. But if you turn it left and right, I think left is intermittent. I think right may be like fast. So it does work. The lighter actually works too if I push it. Well, at least it did. Let's put it back in and see if it works. It worked at one time. Well, it's not working today, but it did work. And if you hold it in, it definitely will work. I'm thinking this is an aftermarket tape player. Maybe for back during that time. It is by, I think that's a Pioneer cassette player. The radio does work on it. Don't have any tapes to see if the tape player worked, but the radio does work. However, only one of the speakers working. It's the driver's door speaker. These did come with 4 speakers. I think 2 in the doors, 2 6.5 in the doors, and 6x9s in the rear. And like I said, neither of them work except that one driver's door speaker. And if you notice, when we get to the right passenger side, it has Continental Mark IV, and it has like a different texture for the wood. So there's a different texture on this side than it is on this side. Not really a fan, but it works. For 1972, I guess you couldn't argue with it. This was considered a very expensive car at this time, costing over $8,000 MSRP, which is roughly like $55,000 today in 2023. And we look at the passenger side. The glove box does open. However, I have a hard time getting it shut. I think the knob needs to be adjusted. It's really, really loose as well. And as you can see, it does have the owner's manual. Continental Mark IV 1972 owner's manual. And if you look at the dash, it's a really, really hard dash. It has faded over the years, so it's not shiny. Even if you put armor on, it doesn't shine too good because I'm sure it's in sun faded. From most likely, it's a 50-year-old car. It's probably had its days of sitting out in the sun for sure. But even just looking out the window, you see how long that hood is. That hood is like 6 feet by itself. And you see the power antenna. And if you look under here, there is a button for the power antenna and actually for the speakers. And also there appears to be an amp for the aftermarket tape player. But the power antenna does work. However, when I first got it, I took it to the car wash being silly, and the car wash broke it immediately. So I don't even touch it. I put it back in there and I just let it sit where it's at until I buy a new antenna. If anybody has access to one, please hit me up in the comments. I definitely need an antenna. I could definitely use a steering wheel as well, even though there's really nothing wrong with this one. But like I said, it has seen better days. And just a quick to the rear. The rear actually looks in pretty good condition. The seats still look pretty good actually. They can use a good leather conditioner and cleaner. Actually, all of the seats are, they're pretty hard, even though I've tried to clean them. But, yep. And if we let the seat back, you can see that on the back, as I mentioned, the upper window, well, the rear window, they don't go back because the upper window is in the way. So that's the farthest they go back, which is what you see right there. So if you were in the back seat, that was as much air as you could get. Because if you had the upper window delete, which was actually pretty rare, even though the upper window for 72 was a new option, 90% of the Mark IVs had them. So if you had a Mark IV without the upper window, that's actually pretty rare. And then if you had the buttons, obviously your window wouldn't go all the way back. So this is to the window. Like I said, it doesn't work, and obviously the car is off. And this was actually to the light back there. That doesn't work either. It doesn't work on both sides. So I don't know if it's just a bulb or if it's a switch. But look at the seats. They actually, like I said, are in pretty good condition. For this to be a 51-year-old car, this is actually in damn good condition, in my opinion. It's missing a button or two back there. The seats were button tufted. Now, as far as the seats, I do like the seats. However, I really like the seats that are in the Mercury Marquis and the Mercury Marquis Brougham. Those high back twin comfort lounge suites that was in the Mercuries, I wish I could put those in this car. I love those seats. I love those high back seats. They actually look a little bit better quality, and they look more comfortable, in my opinion. These are like big lazy boys, and they're fine, but I wish they actually had a little bit better lumbar support. The seats are powered on both sides. I think these are 6 or 8-way power seats. And the trunk, I guess I could show you guys the trunk. Hold up for just a second. It needs work though. I ripped up the carpet because it was leaking and it's all wet and soiled. But hold up for just a second and we can look at the trunk as well. It's not that big though. So back then you had 2 keys, a key for the door and the ignition and the key for the trunk. Oh, I forgot I had Pops back here that I bought from the grocery store a week ago. But as you can see, this is the trunk. The light doesn't work as well back here either. But, I mean, that's just okay size. But I pulled up all of the, because it was filthy and they had all type of a bunch of part boxes that had soiled over the years from the cardboard. So I threw all of that stuff out. And as you can see the speakers, sorta 6x9s, and you can actually see the access to the rear seat. This is probably the wire to the trunk light, but it doesn't work. These are a couple of parts still. Oh, and actually some stuff I need to take back to Amazon. But it still has the original instructions for the jack, which is actually right here. I just haven't put it back in the car. All of the pieces are there for the jack. But I had took all of that stuff out when I was cleaning out the truck. There was way more stuff in here. And those boxes are still in the garage, and other boxes I just threw in the garbage. But yep, I think the trunk is like 13.2 cubic feet. You can still fit a whole body in here, but as big as the car is, you would think it would be way bigger, like the the actual Lincoln Continental sedan or coupe, that truck is huge. But for a Mark IV, it's 13.2. I guess this is considered a personal luxury car, so you don't need that much luggage anyway. I'll take those. But yeah, I just want to give you an interior overview. And actually, even though this is 50-year-old, the emblem still looks really, really good. No evidence of fading, really. I love, one thing I do love about these is the rear lights and the rear hump. I love that Continental hump from 1972. I hate when they went to the new rear for 1974. If I was going to get a Mark IV, it would have to be a 72 model. And as you can see, my top definitely needs to, all the trimmers came up. And that's actually from the car wash. All of that started when I went to the car wash. You can even look over there how it's bubbled up. So when I take the top off to do the rust repair, I don't know if I'm going to put on a new top or not. I might just drive it with the painted top, whatever. I'm going to get it repainted probably in this color for sure. And just keep the top off. I'm not sure yet. And yep, that pretty much sums up the interior overview of the 1972 Continental Mark IV by Lincoln. This actually also happened last week at the car wash. I'm just going to show you this, which I'm pissed off about because a friend of mine told me not to go to any more automatic car washes, and I did. And then this happened with the dryer and high pressure washer. So all of the trim probably needs to be replaced at this point anyway. But overall, still a pretty clean girl. Big girl. Big Bertha. Feel free to drop down in the comments and tell me what you think. My 1972 Continental Mark IV. I've actually been starting a series. I've actually already uploaded several videos related to this car. Tell me what you want me to see, or what you would like for me to talk about or show. I think my next car I'm going to review is my brother's 78 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, and it's a beauty. All right, that's it. Talk to you later.